In other news, U.S. President Trump has approved sending American troops to bolster Saudi Arabia's air and missile defenses after the largest ever attack on the kingdom's oil facilities, which Washington has squarely blamed on Iran. The Pentagon said the deployment would involve a moderate number of troops and would be primarily defensive in nature. U.S. Marine General Joseph Dunford, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said the deployment would not reach thousands of forces, but he declined to be more specific.
In response to the Kingdom's request, the President has approved the deployment of U.S. forces, which will be defensive in nature and primarily focused on air and missile defense. We will also work to accelerate the delivery of military equipment to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the UAE to enhance their ability to defend themselves. We think for now that would be sufficient, but that doesn't mean there could be additional deployments as needed based on the changing situation.
Acting U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper called on other nations to also contribute to their defensive capabilities and stand up and condemn these attacks. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia took the media on a tour of its oil facilities damaged by the attacks, showing melted pipelines and burnt equipment. The kingdom says also sees the September 14th strikes on its Qurais and Abqaiq facilities, the worst attack on Gulf oil infrastructure since Iraq's Saddam Hussein torched Kuwaiti oil fields in 1991. Sanctions are also being imposed on Iran's central bank, which the U.S. says was Tehran's last source of funds. Iran, however, denies involvement in the attack. Responsibility was claimed by Yemen's Houthi movement, an Iran-aligned group fighting the Saudis in Yemen's 4-year-old conflict. And in a major announcement, U.S. President Trump has ordered high sanctions on Iran's central bank. Donald Trump said that the ordered sanctions on Iran's central bank are of the highest level. Cutting off all sources of funds to Iran, the announcement comes in the middle of a bilateral meeting between Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and Donald Trump.
Iranian National Bank, that is their central banking system, and it's going to be at the highest level of sanctions. So that just took place, and a couple of other things have just sanctioned.
Donald Trump, who said the sanctions apply to Iran's national bank, mentioned that the new penalties on Iran mark the highest sanctions ever imposed on a nation.
We have just sanctioned the Iranian National Bank. That is their central banking system, and it's going to be at the highest level of sanctions. So that just took place, and a couple of other things.